So let's talk about one of my favorite historical romance series. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Charles from the channel Books on Stereo, and we're here to talk about these books. Now, I do not know the series name. I think it's like the League of Extraordinary Women or something like that. I should know this because this is one of my favorite romance series. It isn't complete yet. I believe there is a third book that's slated to come out later this year. First book is Bringing Down the Duke, and the second book is entitled A Rogue of One's Own, both by Evie Dunmore. Now, as a pitch for this whole entire series, it basically is set, I believe, somewhere around the Regency era. So for all you Bridgerton fans, it's definitely a great series that you definitely want to check out. And basically follow a society of women that are basically trying to fight for women's rights at this time. And Evie Dunmore herself has actually claimed that she actually found historical evidence that helped inspire this series. So it is really cool and a very feminist and bold take on historical romances, and I absolutely love this series. It isn't complete. There is a second book where the cover has just been released. I think it's going to be a Scottish romance. I cannot wait to read that book. First, I'm going to talk about these first two books in this series. I do not know if it's going to be a trilogy or there's going to be more books, but if you're worried about spoilers, there will not be any spoilers in this video. So book one is Bringing Down the Duke. And then book two is A Rogue of One's Own. Now, you do not have to read these books in order. They're both technically standalones, and I think in my opinion, you can read either one without being spoiled for anything that really happens in the other books. Both of these books, all I'm trying to say is that they're really self-contained stories. Bringing Down the Duke essentially follow our main heroine, who is like one of the first students to basically gain entrance into Oxford, and she gets kind of inducted into the society of, I don't even know what the society is called, into the Society of Women or Suffragists, if you want to call them that. I believe that's the correct term. I'm sorry if I'm just mispronounced. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place in this video, so please bear with me. But essentially follow her. She gets entrance into Oxford, and she gets introduced into the society, and basically the women of the society task her with basically seducing the Duke to basically help them back their cause and help them get more legitimacy, and it's her romance between her and the Duke. I think it's the Duke. Sorry if I'm wrong. I should have read the back before I made this video, but I think it's pretty sure it's the Duke. But overall, I actually love this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This is oh so steamy. It doesn't necessarily read like your typical historical. It feels a lot more contemporary, just with the subject matter and the characters. But it definitely feels like it is rooted in the tradition of historical romances, so it doesn't feel too out of the norm if you have read historical romances before. And yeah, I really love this one. I really love the characters. I really love the romance between our two main characters, and I also really enjoyed the side characters. So in this book, you get a lot of setup for the other women in the society. I believe you get set up for one of the characters that appears in the next book, or who becomes a heroine of the next book. And overall, I really did end up enjoying this one. If you are a fan of historical romance, you should definitely check this one out because I absolutely love this one. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Now let's talk about A Rogue of One's Own, and this is the second book in this series. So in this book, we follow our heroine. She basically purchases a publishing house, and her whole goal in taking over this publishing house so she can definitely kind of lead a calculated attack against Parliament to help increase women's rights. Our hero, who is definitely someone that our heroine has known for quite a bit, actually owns the other part of the publishing house. She doesn't have complete ownership of the company, and it's a little bit of enemies to lovers mixed in with a second chance almost type romance. And yeah, and so overall I did end up enjoying this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now I know a lot of people may not like this one because this one is, I think, probably is maybe 4 hours in terms of audiobook length longer than the first book. And this one we follow just the characters going throughout their daily lives for most of the book, because I definitely feel like in this book you have to understand where our characters are coming from, and you really have to take the time to get to know the characters and let them kind of work through their own issues to really kind of get to the romance stage of things. So I would say the romance definitely kicks in probably around the 50% mark. So it definitely is quite a slow burn, and this is quite a long book, but I absolutely loved it. We really get to learn more about our characters, learn more about this world, about the society as well. And the romance in this one was just so sweet. It wasn't as steamy as the first book, but I loved it in very different ways. But I did take off that 1 star because I did feel like it was a little bit too long, but I definitely feel like this is like one book you have to reread to really appreciate, because there's so much that happens in this book that is a little bit almost like too much to take in all in at once. So as a whole, I really do love these books. I definitely think that you guys should go and check these books out. They're really great historical romances, and I think these are really great books if you're looking to get into historical romance and you're a little bit worried about like the depiction of women during this time, because this one from the get-go is very extremely feminist, and I absolutely love this because it actually is based in a lot of historical context according to the author, which is really, really cool. And I feel like we're kind of exploring like a new corner of the historical romance area that I don't think has really been explored so far in a lot of the historical romances that I have personally read. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go and check out these 2 books. You will absolutely love them. Let me know down in the comment section if you've read these 2 books, or if you haven't read them, are you going to go pick them up? And also make sure you check these books out on audio because they are really, really good. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is a really long intro, and I'll catch you guys with another video. Peace.